What's up, guys? This is Dim, and we're going to go back into Hearthstone. This time we're actually battling a buddy of mine with his priest deck. This deck is actually my mage deck from closed beta that, in closed beta, was actually pretty strong. However, now it's gotten a lot weaker. It does net some wins in ranked, however, it's kind of hit or miss. I also wanted to talk about some news on the Hearthstone front, specifically with the Curse of Naxxramas that was announced at PAX East. So essentially what that is a single player against the AI encounter where you can fight down different wings of Naxxramas, similar to the raid zone, and earn cards. And then at the end of each wing, the boss that you defeat will actually give you a guaranteed legendary. In total, there's going to be about 30 cards generated from this raid. So it's actually going to be pretty fun and interesting to see how they're going to play out the different bosses and the wings and the rewards. As far as the game now, he came out opening with a Lightwell, which is actually a really kind of concerning card depending on his card draw, because they can, as you see here, buff it with Inner Fire and also buff it with Divine Spirit and play numbers there where all of a sudden the 0/5 1-mana card turns into a 5/10 with minimal effort on turn 3. So that's something that obviously I would I'm a little concerned about. So that's going to obviously take precedence over anything. We got to get rid of that card or find a way to silence it. So essentially what I think we're going to go ahead and do is freeze it until I can hopefully come up with a polymorph or something to get rid of that that Lightwell. The damage on it is obviously going to be pretty much impenetrable with 5/10 floating around there. So we'll see how we do. But yeah, Curse of Naxxramas is actually pretty interesting. It's, you know, not a change to the primary function of WoW, or of Hearthstone, where you're going to be going against other players. This is a fully AI scripted thing. Right now, the only thing they have really is training modes, so it's kind of interesting to see that they're going that route. And what's nice here is we just drew our sheep card, and we can now keep this thing modified or frozen until next turn, where we're going to go ahead and sheep it and get it off the board immediately, because that card will be a complete game changer. As it stands now, we're already down 30 to 25 with absolute no board control. However, we do have some cards, which is good. Now, the one option I could have done was I could have made a copy of the card. However, that would have meant that with the cost of my Faceless Manipulator, I would have had nothing to do with that, and I would have had to deal with the damage coming in one more turn. So I went ahead and just sheeped it and wanted to get it off the table. Anyhow, but yeah, so Curse of Naxxramas. The card art actually is really kind of cool looking, to be perfectly honest with you. So I'm really looking forward to this. I don't know, because it sounds like since each boss, the end result will be the legendary card. So I don't know the replayability in that, or if, you know, the bosses leading up to the final boss of each wing has the chance to drop cards. The way it's written out, it kind of sounds like it might be a single playthrough and then be done with it. But who knows? There's still a lot of details up there. Now, as far as the game is concerned, we've kind of taken a board advantage. However, I'm down to 30 to 13, and I'm throwing anything I have out there. Oozlings, which he's obviously not going to play a weapon, so I'm just throwing them out there. And he went ahead and threw out a Frostwolf Warlord, which was kind of a minimal buff there, considering that there's only one card on the table. But we're going to go ahead and run with it from there. And we'll go ahead and he'll trade with my Oozling and come out advantageous. So I still have to deal with getting rid of that Shattered Sun's Cleric, which I will remove with a Fireball. With 5 mana left, there's a couple different options that we can play with this. We can go, obviously, we can throw a Taunt down and just prevent the damage from coming in. we can actually copy the card for 5 mana, which is the equivalent of what he has. And I think that's what we're going to go ahead and do. It's a nice little 1-for-1 trade. And of course, we're going to have to, we're not going to be able to wipe him off the board yet. So I'm just going to go ahead and attack the priest and hopefully deal with him on the next turn. This game does not look very good at this point. But, yeah, and he just Shadow Word Death to my Faceless Manipulator copy of the Frostwolf Warlord. And we're kind of back to the drawing board with, and then he put, wow, another Mind Blast. So we're losing 27-8. Not good. Not good. And the Warlord is still there as well, so that's problematic. But with 8 mana, we have some options. One is, of course, let's drop that Taunt down to prevent that damage from coming in. And then we can always go from there. Now, I think one option here is to buff it with the Shadowstone's Cleric, which would force the trade, but we would be able to take out the Warlord in one shot that way. So I think that's where we're going to head with this. There's we could silence it, which is not bad either, but that was actually kind of a mistake, because silencing it, even though it was damage, it'll bring it back to its standard route. So it did not. I was actually thinking that it was going to bring it from, since it was a 5/4, I thought that it would cancel it, and since it had 1 damage to it already, I thought that it would actually drop the damage and make it a 4/3. So that was a mistake play on my part. I should have went with the Shadowstone's Cleric buff on the Taunt, because now I still cannot trade it. Now, he went ahead and stole my Taunt, and I have 0 protection against my warrior. Or, I'm sorry, against my mage. And we are down to 27-1 with no Taunt. Now we got the Taunt back. But, yes. How can we make this work? Now, we're obviously going to have to get rid of that Frostwolf Warlord, because we definitely need to protect that Taunt now, because I mean, direct damage spells aside, we need to protect that board as best we can. So I'll go ahead and put the Berserker out there. He can gain some damage nicely, and we'll go ahead and buff the Taunt, like I said, because we need him to protect the board. Now, of course, if he has a direct damage hero ability, we're in trouble. Right now, I have no way of healing. So the odds are not really in my favor, and he just removed the Berserker because I did not hit it with my Fireball to buff it beforehand, and he threw a Flame Strike, but thankfully we had our Taunt buffed, so it is still there in whatever sort of facet of it being there. So right now we're just putting cards out to be protected behind the Taunt, and for the next round to get some damage. But we did get some nice damage out there. And now it's down 14-1. Still, again, if he gets any direct damage, we are in heaps of trouble. Let's see where it goes. But yeah, back to Naxxramas. You're going to get a new game board to play during these levels, or a new interactive, play board. And that should be good. Okay, now he has a minion out with Divine Shield and Taunt, and a 5/5 minion. That's not good. That's a lot of damage coming in, and again with the Divine Shield. The one nice thing about the mage is that we can pick off that Divine Shield with a 2-mana Fireball. That's kind of helpful. So we don't have to throw anything against that 4 damage. But what I opted for is I actually opted to just toss a freeze out, and we're going to have to remove that Taunt before we do anything. So I think our best option here would be to, let's see, how can we persevere here? Alright, so we're going to blow the Fireball, which unfortunately, because I really could use the damage on the hero, but we're going to blow that Fireball and toss everything else up ahead with what we got. Not a great draw that we have, just a Chill Wind Yeti and a Flame Strike, but he's only got 1 minion. And that one minion only has 4 health. So that gives us an option where we can possibly play a Fireball and a Flame Strike to do a board clear. Let's see. What should we do? Yeah, we're going to go ahead and Flame Strike it all the way down. Hope that our random missiles hit. And they completely whiff. Which is good though, because it still put the damage on the healer. And that's it. We came back from a ridiculous undercard and was able to take the win here. So it was a really nice comeback. We got a lucky draw, and I'm taunting my buddy, telling him that it was recorded, so he won't be able to live it down. But listen, guys, this is Dim. This has been another venture into Hearthstone. Let me know if you like it, actually. Comment and subscribe, guys. Catch you in the next one. Bye.